What if a single bark in the dead of night could unravel a hidden empire of evil, saving innocent lives and exposing secrets buried deeper than the roots of ancient trees? Buckle up, because that's exactly what happened in the misty depths of Evergreen Valley, Colorado. A tale that proves our furry friends aren't just companions. They're unsung warriors with instincts sharper than any blade. Picture this, a fog so thick it clings to your skin like a whisper, wrapping the ancient cedars of Evergreen Valley, Colorado in a ghostly veil. It's a chilly autumn evening, the kind where the air bites just enough to keep you sharp, and Deputy Sheriff Sarah Jenkins is out on what should be a routine patrol. Her boots crunch on a carpet of fallen leaves, her flashlight slicing through the mist like a lifeline. But tonight, the wilderness feels alive, watching, waiting. By her side isn't some gruff deputy with a thermos of stale coffee. No, it's Buddy, her golden Labrador retriever, his fur glowing faintly under the moonlight, his nose twitching like he's already caught a secret the forest isn't ready to spill. Buddy's no ordinary dog, folks. Rescued 3 years ago from a rundown shelter, this Labrador's got eyes that hold stories, deep, soulful brown pools that seem to see right through you. Labradors, you know they're the stuff of legends, gentle giants with noses that can sniff out a needle in a haystack, hearts big enough to carry the weight of the world, and a loyalty that'd make a saint jealous. Think of those real-life heroes like the Labradors who sifted through the rubble of 9/11, pulling hope from despair when everyone else had given up. That's Buddy's breed, born to feel the world in ways we humans can only dream of. Holy smokes, what a gift they are. Sarah gets it. She's been on the force for 12 years, a no-nonsense officer with a fire in her gut and a shadow in her heart. 5 years back, a little girl vanished from a playground on Sarah's watch. Poof, gone no trace. That case still haunts her, waking her up at 3 a.m. with what-ifs that sting like open wounds. That's why she fought tooth and nail to get Buddy certified as her K9 partner. Their bond, unbreakable. It's just them against the wilds of Evergreen Valley. And Sarah swears Buddy's got a sixth sense for trouble. Call it a Labrador's magic, if you will. But then it happens, the moment that grabs you by the throat and won't let go. Buddy freezes mid-step, his ears shooting up like radar towers. A low growl rumbles from deep in his chest, building into a sharp, piercing bark that cuts through the fog like a siren. Not his usual squirrel alert yip, this is primal urgent, the kind of sound that makes your heart skip and your skin prickle. "What is it, boy?" Sarah whispers, her hand instinctively brushing her holster. Buddy doesn't wait for permission. He yanks the leash, charging off the trail into the thorny underbrush with a fire in his step she's never seen before. Oh man, this is no game. This dog's on a mission. Let's pause for a second. Why does a dog bark like that? It's not just noise. It's instinct, honed over millennia, sharper than any tech in Sarah's arsenal. Maybe it's a scent on the wind, a faint cry swallowed by the trees, or a vibration only a Labrador's soul can feel. Ignore it, and you're gambling with life's real talk. Think of the 2018 Thai cave rescue, those boys trapped underground, found partly because dogs sniffed out paths drones couldn't. Contrast that with city searches, where honking cars drown out instincts, and you see why a place like Evergreen Valley is where a dog's power shines. But here's where we mess up, as they say too many cops brush off a bark as a false alarm, thinking it's just a raccoon or the wind. Big mistake. Sarah learned that lesson the hard way with that missing girl. Not tonight though, she's all in following Buddy's lead, even as thorns snag her jacket and doubt creeps in. Is this just another dead end? Then bam, the twist hits like lightning, the kind that makes your jaw drop and your pulse race. Buddy skids to a stop at the base of a gnarled fallen oak, pawing at the dirt like his life depends on it. Sarah sweeps her flashlight beam across the scene, expecting maybe a lost backpack or animal tracks. But holy smokes, what's this half buried under vines and decay? There's no campsite or junk pile. It's a rusted-out medical van, its doors creaking open, reeking of metal, and something far darker. Wait, it gets crazier. Buddy whines, nudging her closer. And that's when she sees them tiny footprints, child-sized, vanishing into the fog like a ghost's trail. No way, tiny shoes in the middle of nowhere. Sarah gasps, her heart pounding. This isn't just a patrol anymore. It's a nightmare unraveling. And Buddy's bark has just blown the lid off a secret bigger than these woods. A shadow empire hiding in plain sight. Feel that rush. That's the power of a dog's gut. A lesson wrapped in golden fur and fierce loyalty when the world's too noisy. Sometimes the quietest heroes, like our beloved Labradors, scream the loudest truths. It's why we love them, why we fight for them, why their courage hits us right in the heart. As Sarah grips Buddy's leash, steeling herself to pry open those rusty van doors, you can't help but lean in, pulse racing, wondering what horror is waiting inside. Hold tight, because Buddy's about to lead us into a discovery that'll shake Evergreen Valley to its core. The fog in Evergreen Valley clings tighter now, wrapping Sarah Jenkins and her Labrador Buddy in a suffocating embrace as they stand before the rusted husk of that medical van, its doors yawning open like a scream frozen in time. Sarah's flashlight trembles in her grip, the beam catching flecks of peeling paint, and something else, something that makes her stomach lurch. "Buddy, stay close," she whispers, but her voice cracks, betraying the dread clawing at her chest. Holy smokes, what has this dog uncovered? Buddy's not budging, though. His golden fur bristles, his nose twitches, and those soulful eyes lock onto the van's dark interior like he's staring into the abyss itself. Labradors, you know they're built for moments like this. Noses that can sniff out a whisper of danger, hearts that beat for the lost. Think of those therapy Labradors comforting kids after disasters like in Sandy Hook, where their gentle presence pulled shattered souls back from the edge. Buddy's one of them, a hero in fur. And right now, he's telling Sarah something's terribly wrong. She steps closer, boots sinking into the muddy earth, the air thick with the tang of rust, and something chemical sharp, unnatural. Buddy whines a low, heart-wrenching sound that cuts through the silence like a knife. "What is it, boy?" she murmurs, her hand brushing his head for courage. The van's back doors are ajar, and as she pulls them wider, the hinges screech like a warning. Oh man, the sight inside hits her like a punch to the gut. There, on a grimy makeshift cot, lies a boy, no more than 7 years old, his face pale as moonlight, his tiny chest barely rising. Tommy. Sarah gasps, dropping to her knees beside him. Tommy Hayes, the kid who vanished from his foster home a week ago. The one whose face has been plastered on every news channel in Colorado. He's alive? Oh, thank God he's alive. She fumbles for her radio voice shaking. Unit 7 to base. I've got Tommy Hayes in an abandoned van off Cedar Trail. He's unconscious, critical. Send medics now. Buddy doesn't bark anymore. He sits statue still, his warm body pressed against the cot, like he's guarding Tommy's faint heartbeat. What a lifesaver, this Labrador's nose just turned a cold trail into a miracle. Let's break it down. Why was Tommy here? The cause screams foul play. Sedatives probably keeping him silent, hidden in a van, scrubbed of all identity. No plates, no VIN, just a ghost vehicle buried in the woods. The consequence. A kid inches from death, lost to a world that almost gave up on him. Compare this to real cases like the smuggling rings along the US-Mexico border, where kids are stashed in vehicles disguised as utility vans, slipping through because no one looks twice at medical transport. Contrast that with urban abductions, where crowded streets hide cries. Here, the forest's isolation is the perfect cloak for monsters. But here's where folks mess up, assuming an old vehicle's just junk. Sarah could have walked away, called it a day, but Buddy's insistence, that's the game changer. His nose caught what drones and deputies missed, proving why Labradors are gold in search and rescue. Remember those dogs in the 2020 California wildfires, sniffing out survivors in burned-out cars? Sarah's trust in Buddy's bark is pure guts. Most would have shrugged, but she's not most. Her hands shake as she checks Tommy's pulse. Faint, but there while Buddy nudges the cot, his warmth seeming to coax the boy's breathing steadier. "You're a miracle, boy," she whispers, tears stinging her eyes. Then the twist, the kind that makes your heart stop and your jaw drop. Buddy's not done. He paws at the van's floor, growling low, his claws scraping a hidden panel. Sarah pries it open, and holy smokes, what's this? A faded Polaroid tumbles out, showing not just Tommy, but 3 other kids, their faces pale, eyes wide with fear. And one of them, a girl with dark braids, looks hauntingly familiar. No way Sarah breathes her mind, flashing back to that unsolved case 5 years ago, the little girl from the playground. Buddy, you've dug up a ghost. The photo's edges are worn, but there's something else. A scrawled note. Shadow, next drop. Shadow, whose shadow? Buddy's ears perk his whine sharp, like he's answering her unspoken question. This isn't just one kid's nightmare, it's a web. And Buddy's nose has snagged the first thread. The medics arrive, their sirens piercing the fog as they rush Tommy onto a stretcher. Sarah watches, heart pounding, as Buddy refuses to leave the boy's side, his golden fur brushing the stretcher like a lifeline. He stays, she tells the paramedics, her voice firm. In the chaos, she clutches that Polaroid, the faces burning into her mind. This discovery's no accident. Buddy's empathy, his Labrador magic has cracked open. Something massive. Something that stretches far beyond Evergreen Valley. The lesson hits hard. One dog's heart can outshine 1,000 oversights, reminding us why we cherish our pets, why their instincts are our salvation. But as the ambulance races away, Sarah catches Buddy staring into the woods, his hackles up like he smells something or someone still out there. Hold on tight, because this Labrador's about to lead us deeper into a darkness that'll shake you to your core. The hospital in Evergreen Valley hums with antiseptic urgency, but for Sarah Jenkins, the sterile hallways feel like a maze closing in. Tommy Hayes lies in a bed behind glass, hooked to monitors, his small frame still except for the faint rise of his chest. Beside Sarah, Buddy, the Labrador paces his golden fur, catching the fluorescent light, his nose twitching like he's still sniffing out secrets. Those soulful eyes dart toward Tommy's room, then back to the hallway, restless as if the danger's not over. Holy smokes! Buddy, what else do you know? Sarah thinks, her hand resting on his head, grounding herself in his warmth. Labradors like Buddy aren't just pets. They're detectives in fur, their noses sharper than any forensic tech. Remember those Labradors in the 2017 London fire rescues, sniffing out survivors when smoke blinded everyone else? That's Buddy, right now. A hero whose instincts are screaming, something's still out there. Sarah's back at the sheriff's office by dawn, the Polaroid from the van spread across her desk like a grim puzzle. Those 4 faces, Tommy and 3 others, including that girl with braids who haunts her dreams, stare back silent, but screaming for answers. She pins it to a whiteboard, scrawling shadow with a question mark. Buddy lies by her feet, but he's not relaxed. His ears flick at every sound, like he's waiting for a ghost to walk through the door. "What's got you so twitchy, boy?" Sarah murmurs, but her gut's twisting too. The van was no fluke. It's a piece of something bigger, darker. A network woven so tight it's invisible. She calls in Agent Harper from the FBI's Child Exploitation Task Force, a no-nonsense guy with a weathered jacket and a stare that cuts through bullshit. "This is organized," he says, tapping the Polaroid. "No plates, no VIN sedatives, a kid in a coma. This isn't a lone creep. It's a machine. Let's break it down. The cause of this horror lies in a system designed to disappear. Traffickers use fake medical vans, scrubbed clean, to move kids like cargo, exploiting rural blind spots like Evergreen Valley's endless forests. The consequence, kids like Tommy vanish, their cases buried under runaway labels or red tape. Compare this to urban trafficking, where kids are shuffled through crowded cities, hidden in plain sight. Rural isolation makes evidence vanish faster. Real-world parallel, the FBI's 2021 Operation Cross Country recovered 200 kids from similar setups, often stashed in vehicles nobody checked. Common mistake. Cops leaning on tech drones' databases while ignoring a dog's nose. Sarah's not that cop. Buddy's restlessness is her compass, and damn, it's pointing somewhere chilling. She takes him back to the van site at dusk, the forest now a crime scene taped off by deputies. Buddy doesn't follow the old trail. He bolts northeast past a dry creek bed through thorny brambles that snag Sarah's jacket. "Slow down, boy," she calls, heart racing. He stops at a clearing, pawing at the earth like he's unearthing a grave. "Oh man, what now?" A shovel confirms it. A shallow pit, barely 3 feet deep, stuffed with plastic bags. A tattered blanket. A juice box. And God help her, a toddler's pacifier too small for a 7-year-old like Tommy. "This is a holding spot," Sarah whispers, her voice shaking. "They kept kids here." Buddy whines, nudging a tiny sock, and Sarah's stomach churns. A forensics team swarms in bagging evidence, but Buddy's already sniffing again, circling his hackles up. He's not done. Labradors don't quit when lives are on the line. Then the twist hits like a freight train, the kind that makes you gasp and lean closer. Buddy freezes, growling low, his eyes locked on the tree line. Footsteps crunch someone's coming. Sarah's hand flies to her gun, heart pounding. "Who's there?" she shouts as Buddy bares his teeth ready to lunge. A figure emerges, a wildlife ranger, hands raised, startled. "Just checking traps," he stammers. "False alarm, but holy smokes." Sarah's pulse is still racing. Buddy's growl was so fierce, it felt like the traffickers themselves were closing in. That moment's a wake-up call. The ranger's innocent, but this network's got eyes everywhere, and Buddy's nose knows it. Sarah's quick draw, reckless yet brilliant. Without Buddy's alert, she'd be a sitting duck. Lesson here. Trust your dog's gut, because danger doesn't always announce itself. Back at the hospital, Tommy's awake but silent, his eyes blank, only softening when Buddy pads in. The Labrador curls up beside him, and Tommy's fingers twitch, brushing Buddy's fur like it's his only anchor. Sarah watches her throat tight. "You're his lifeline, boy," she whispers, but her mind's racing. Harper's team pulls a bombshell from the van. A tiny RFID chip in Tommy's arm, not medical industrial, like ones used to track livestock. "They're tagging kids like property," Sarah snaps, horrified. The chip's serial number traces to a defunct Nevada supplier linked to a Colorado warehouse. Cause traffickers treating kids as inventory. Affect a hidden web spanning states untouchable until now. Compared to older cases like the 1990s, smuggling rings using fake IDs, today's tech makes it scarier, cleaner. Mistake. Assuming one kid's the endgame. Buddy's pacing says otherwise. He's smelling more than Tommy. Here's the gut punch twist. Sarah revisits the Polaroid, zooming in on the van's reflective surface. There, faint as a ghost, is another face, a girl, braided hair, maybe 4 years old. Not Tommy, not the playground girl, but Shadow. Buddy whines, pawing Sarah's leg like he's screaming, "She's out there!" Sarah's blood runs cold. "Buddy, you're remembering something, aren't you?" His past in a Seattle K-9 unit floods back, a raid gone wrong. His handler killed a trafficking ring that slipped away. This isn't instinct. It's memory. Labrador loyalty, refusing to let go. Real stat, over 400,000 U.S. kids go missing yearly. Many in foster systems like Tommy's ignored because the system's underwater. Sarah's not ignoring this, she's all in. And Buddy's leading the charge. The lesson burns bright: systemic failures bury kids in silence, but a dog's heart can dig them out. Buddy's not just a pet. He's a beacon for animal lovers, showing why we fight for our dogs, why their instincts are our salvation. As Sarah stares at the whiteboard, Shadow circled in red. Buddy growls softly, eyes locked on the door. Someone's watching, and this Labrador's ready to hunt. Get ready, because the next move in this chase is about to explode everything wide open. The sun dips low over Rocky Ridge County, painting the sky a bruised purple, as Sarah Jenkins and Buddy, her golden Labrador, barrel down a dusty mining road in their department SUV. The windows are down, the radio silent, and the air crackles with tension. Buddy's restless in the back, his nose pressed to the glass, whining low like he's picking up a scent that's been haunting him for miles. Sarah's knuckles are white on the steering wheel, her mind racing with the faces from that Polaroid: Tommy, the braided girl named Shadow, and the others still out there. "We're close, boy," she mutters, but her heart's hammering. Holy smokes, Buddy's on fire tonight. This Labrador's not just tracking. He's hunting, and his instincts are screaming danger. Labradors, you know, they're not just cuddly companions. They're fearless when it counts, like those K9 heroes in the 2020 Florida raids tackling armed suspects to save lives. Buddy's got that fire, and Sarah's banking everything on it. They're halfway up the road when Buddy lets out a sharp bark, his body lunging at the window claws scrabbling. "What is it, boy?" Sarah snaps her eyes, scanning the darkening woods. Then she sees it, an RV, white but grimy, tucked behind a crumbling billboard for a long-gone trout lodge. The plates match a partial Idaho registration from an FBI bolo. "Oh man, this is it!" Sarah throws the SUV into reverse, her pulse pounding like a drum. The RV's windows are tinted, but not enough. A small handprint smudges the glass clear as day. "Buddy, you genius," she gasps, cutting the headlights. This isn't just a hunch. It's a lifeline, and Buddy's nose has led them straight to it. Let's break it down. The cause of this setup is pure evil traffickers using RVs as mobile cages disguised as campers to dodge suspicion. The consequence: kids like Shadow stolen from foster homes, trapped in a cycle of silence and fear. Compare this to urban trafficking, where kids are shuffled through motels. Out here, the vastness of Rocky Ridge hides everything. Real-world parallel, the 2022 FBI sting in Texas, where RVs were used to move dozens of kids across state lines. Common mistake: assuming a vehicle's empty because it's parked. Biggest blunder in rural ops. Sarah's not falling for it. Not with Buddy growling low, his hackles up like a warning flag. Her deputy Martinez pulls up quietly, and she radios Unit 7 to base suspect vehicle located mile marker 12 Ridgeback Road. Possible child inside. Proceed silent. Sarah and Buddy creep closer, her boots crunching gravel, his body rigid, tail pointed like a compass. "You ready, boy?" she whispers. Buddy's eyes lock on the RV's side door, muscles coiled. Then movement. Martinez signals from the rear passenger seat, "Someone ducked. Oh hell, they know we're here." Sarah draws her Glock, heart in her throat, but before she can act, a high-pitched yelp erupts, not Buddy's. Another dog inside, frantic, panicked. Then a child's scream pierces the air, followed by a loud bang. No time to think. Sarah kicks the door, and chaos explodes. Buddy surges in first, a golden blur past a tipped-over cooler and folding chairs. Sarah's right behind, gun raised. "Sheriff's Department, don't move," she shouts. In the RV's dim interior, a wiry man scrambles up, bearded eyes, sunken, a pistol shaking in his hand. Harlan Voss, ex-paramedic, disgraced and vanished after a 2019 opioid bust. "Drop it," Sarah yells, but he swings the gun toward her. Big mistake. Buddy doesn't hesitate. His jaws clamp Voss's forearm, sending the pistol clattering. The suspect screams, thrashing, but Buddy holds firm, a Labrador's strength in full force. Incredible takedown. Sarah thinks, adrenaline surging. Martinez bursts through the back door, cuffs ready. Hands up now. Voss is down, but Buddy's growl doesn't stop, his eyes locked on the man who dared raise a weapon in a room with a child. And there she is, in the corner, curled in a sleeping bag, Shadow, the girl from the Polaroid, her braided hair, matted eyes wide with terror. But wait, here's the twist that hits like a gut punch. Another child huddles beside her. A boy, maybe 5, clutching a plastic dinosaur. And there's a third, a tiny girl, barely 3, hidden under a blanket. 3 kids, not one. Unbelievable, Sarah gasps, holstering her gun. "Buddy, you found them all." She kneels, voice soft. "Hey, you're safe now. I'm Sarah, and this is Buddy." Shadow stares mute, but crawls toward Buddy, burying her face in his fur. The boy follows trembling, and the toddler clings to his tail. Buddy stands firm, letting them shake against him, his warmth a shield. What a hero. This Labrador's heart is saving more than lives. It's saving souls. Sarah radios, 3 children recovered, confirmed IDs. Condition stable, request, medevac and trauma team. Martinez searches Voss's pockets. Burner phones, fake IDs, same setup as the van. But here's the jaw dropper. Voss, panting on the floor, hisses, "You don't know me, Jenkins." Sarah freezes. No way this guy's no stranger. He's Tom Carver, a corrupt deputy from her old precinct tied to that playground case 5 years ago. "You son of a," she starts, but Buddy's growl cuts her off like he's saying, "Focus, Sarah." That betrayal stings like hell, her own colleague turned monster. 'Cause greed and power twisting a badge into a weapon. Effect, kids' stolen lives shattered. Compare to failed raids where insiders tipped off rings, real cases like the 2015 Arizona bust show how corruption festers. Mistake. Trusting badges blindly. Buddy's hesitation at the sirens earlier heart-wrenching, he sensed Carver's scent, a ghost from his Seattle past, but pushed through. "You're my rock boy," Sarah whispers, her voice cracking. The lesson screams loud, courage isn't fearless, it's acting despite the scars. Buddy teaches us that his Labrador loyalty turning trauma into triumph. Animal lovers, you feel this, our dogs don't just guard our homes, they guard our hope. As the medevac chopper's blades thump overhead, Sarah watches Buddy stand sentinel over the kids, their tiny hands in his fur. But Carver's words echo, and that third child's dinosaur toy, it's identical to Tommy's. These kids were together, and this network's still out there waiting. Hold on, because Buddy's not done hunting, and the next break in this case is about to blow the lid off everything. The sun rises over Evergreen Valley, painting the sky in hues of hope. As Sarah Jenkins stands on the hospital roof, the cool morning air mingling with the warmth of Buddy's golden fur pressed against her leg. The Labrador's eyes, those deep brown pools that seem to hold 1,000 unspoken stories, blink slowly as if he's savoring the quiet after the storm. The chaos of that heart-pounding RV raid, the screams, the clatter of Harlan Voss's gun hitting the floor, the sight of 3 terrified children huddled in a sleeping bag. It feels like a distant nightmare now, but the weight of it lingers heavy in Sarah's chest, a mix of relief and unresolved questions. Downstairs in the soft glow of the pediatric wing, Tommy, Shadow Ben, and tiny Lila sleep peacefully, their small hands clutching stuffed animals, their nightmares held at bay by the steady presence of a dog who never gave up. "You did it, Buddy," Sarah whispers, her fingers buried in his fur. "You brought them home. Oh man, what a hero. This Labrador's heart didn't just find these kids. It's knitting their broken pieces back together." Omni. In the hospital, healing unfolds like a slow, tender miracle. Tommy, now sitting up, sips apple juice through a straw, his eyes no longer blank, but curious, tracking Buddy's every move. Shadow, the girl with braided hair, draws pictures of golden dogs under rainbows, her fingers steady for the first time in weeks. Ben, the quiet 5-year-old, clutches that plastic dinosaur, and little Lila barely 3 giggles when Buddy nudges her hand with his wet nose. Labradors, you know their magic, like that gentle giants who can calm a racing heart with a single nudge. Think of those therapy dogs in programs for abuse survivors, like the ones used after Hurricane Katrina, where Labradors helped kids find their voices again. Buddy's doing that now, curling up beside each child's bed, his warmth a living shield against the dark. "You're their lifeline, boy," Sarah murmurs, her throat tight. Cause and effect. Trauma locks kids in silence, but a dog's unconditional love. Buddy's soft licks, his steady presence, lowers cortisol, builds trust, and cracks open doors to healing. Real-world parallel studies show animal-assisted therapy cuts PTSD symptoms by 30% in kids. Contrast that with rushed recoveries where kids are pushed to move on without emotional anchors. Big mistake. Buddy's proving what humans often forget. Healing takes time, and a dog's heart can carry you through. But here's the twist that hits like a sunrise after a long night, the kind that makes you tear up and lean in. At the Evergreen Valley Courthouse, the town's packed wall to wall for Buddy's medal ceremony. The mayor steps up, his voice booming. Sometimes heroism comes on 4 legs, and Buddy's loyalty changed lives forever. The crowd roars, clapping through tears as a shiny medal is pinned to Buddy's K9 vest. Sarah tries to hold it together, but her eyes are glassy. Damn, that lump in her throat won't budge. Then Shadow steps forward, clutching a drawing and whispers, "Buddy was our dog once." No way. The room stills as she explains. Buddy, stolen from their foster home years ago, was their family pet before his rescue and K9 training. Unbelievable. Sarah gasps her hand on Buddy's fur. This Labrador's journey has come full circle from a lost pet to a hero who found his own kids again. The crowd sobs, and Buddy, he just wags his tail, looking at Tommy and Shadow like he's known them all along. What a moment. Labradors don't just save lives. They weave destinies back together. The aftermath paints a bigger picture. The FBI's raid on that Colorado warehouse, sparked by Buddy's finds, uncovers crates of burner phones, fake medical records, and 6 more RFID chips, proof of a network spanning states treating kids like inventory. Cause a ruthless system exploiting foster care gaps. Effect: kids' stolen cases ignored. But Buddy's nose broke the chain, leading to arrests and policy shifts, like increased funding for K9 units nationwide. Compare this to past failures cases like the 2000s, Midwest trafficking rings, where lax oversight let kids slip through. Common error: underfunding animal-assisted programs, assuming tech trumps instinct. Wrong. Buddy's legacy proves it. His memory tied to that Seattle raid, where he lost his first handler, drove him to save Tommy, Shadow, Ben, and Lila. Real stat: over 400,000 U.S. kids go missing yearly. But K9 units boost recovery rates by 40%. Sarah's decision to trust Buddy, pure genius. Most would have hesitated. But she leaned into his heart. Here's the final twist, the one that seals the story with a sob and a smile. Months later, Sarah visits the kids in their trauma-informed foster home, where Buddy now lives full-time. Tommy and Shadow draw together, Ben plays with that dinosaur, and Lila laughs as Buddy chases a ball. They don't talk about the vans or the darkness, not yet, but they hold hands, giggle, and let Buddy sleep at their feet. An epilogue shows them years later, now teens volunteering at a local animal shelter inspired by their 4-legged guardian. Buddy taught us to keep going. Tommy says, pinning a ribbon on a rescued pup. Sarah watches, her heart full. "You remembered everything, didn't you, boy?" she whispers as Buddy licks her hand, his eyes saying, "I never forgot." This Labrador didn't just save 4 kids. He cracked a system wide open, sparking national reforms and shelter adoptions. Lesson dogs like Buddy don't just guard our homes, they light the way to healing, showing us loyalty mends what's broken. Animal lovers, you feel this. Our pets are our heroes. Their love, a bridge from pain to hope. If Buddy's story moved you, and come on, how could it not hit that subscribe button to join our Courage in Fur family, where we share courageous dog tales every day? Drop a comment. What would you do if you found that van in the woods? Better yet, take action. Call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST if you spot something suspicious, or support your local shelter to give more dogs like Buddy a chance to shine. Let's honor their heroism together, because in a world of shadows, a dog's love is the brightest light. Stay tuned, because Buddy's legacy is just the beginning.